This section is called Events That Define a Presidency. And what we've done is to talk about the major themes of the Clinton and Bush administrations in this gallery, and to show Brodner's reactions, very clever reactions to those events and themes and scandals and wars and God knows what that he's projected. The first piece I want to talk about is this one, which is called A Date with Monica. At the beginning of the Monica Lewinsky scandal, Brodner shows us her lawyer, William Ginsburg, holding her hostage in a television set with all of the major political pundits dressed up for a date, and that's what it's called, A Date with Monica. They all want to get her and capture her, but of course she's being held hostage by her lawyer here as well. And it's really quite fun to look at how Brodner's created that satin and silk sort of look, and vaguely risque and kinky, of course, because the whole thing is risque and kinky. And Brodner's projecting these wonderful caricatures of these figures around Monica. But there are two accompanying pieces with this particular work, done for different publications. Probably the most devastating is the top piece up here, which is called Hot in Here. Bill Clinton getting the stare from Hillary as he's sort of looking downcast here, as he's literally going into flames at this scandal. And an even more devastating and probably blasphemous to some people is Brodner's Nailed, also from 1998, for Mother Jones magazine. Clinton literally doing himself in. Devastating. Probably the three most devastating pieces that Brodner produced, I would argue, in his whole career, are these three pieces of Bill Clinton, related to Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky scandal. The aftermath of the Monica Lewinsky scandal is shown in this little section in this corner, where we have this piece, The Executioner's Song, with Bill Clinton being blindfolded and being impeached, literally, and executed by a rotund and awkward Newt Gingrich, who can't really make political hay out of this thing. And the other images of Newt here being so upset, especially in The Madness of King Newt, one of Brodner's great pieces, where Newt himself is outed, if you will, for his mistress. Another pro-family Republican had a Monica, too, delish, to quote Steve Brodner. And so he's showing The Madness of King Newt, derived, of course, from the movie of the similar title, The Madness of King George, which was very popular in 1998. September 11, 2001 affected Steve Brodner very profoundly. When the events were unfolding, Steve walked from his home in Upper Manhattan all the way down to the World Trade Center site. And what he did when he got there was to sketch the witnesses. And he produced a series, an art journalism series, which we presented here in the show, of witnesses. And they're startling in their emotional impact of these people in absolute horror, being taken aback by the events that are unfolding in front of them. Brodner did a second series related to the events of 9/11, and it's equally as compelling as the Witness series. This series is on the missing posters that were put at Ground Zero. Brodner sketched them in these images, and they are incredibly compelling, not only by his choice of subject matter, meaning the people and the posters that he's depicted, but also the way he's treated them. If you look closely at the images, you'll see that they're all sort of dappled. And that's the effect, as Brodner says, of the elements on these missing posters. In other words, rain, sort of smudging them. And you can see them in the illustrations, the smudges. They bring sort of a greater sense of poignancy to the works, which really affects me as a visitor, and I think intended to affect the viewer in general.